Welcome back, designers. This is Rebecca, and this is part 2 of setting up your Victorian logo design. So let's go ahead and revisit our photo real fast. If you'd like to, if your photo's looking a bit too smooth, you can choose the photo and you can go to Effect, Texture, and you can add some grain to that. So adding grain is basically the same as adding noise in Photoshop. So that means that it's not actually adding grain, it's adding a bunch of colored pixels. And so colored pixel can be really obvious on a black and white photo. So we can avoid that by cranking up the contrast a bit, but then lowering the intensity a bit. So as you lower the intensity, you'll see the gray come through a little bit more, and you'll lose a lot of that color in the middle grays and in the whites. So that's good. So if you're happy with that, the grain type can be regular. You can just hit OK. And then she looks a little bit older and grainier. So I'm going to move her to the side. I think I'm actually going to select those layers and make a new layer. So I'll just click on that new layer icon and I will call this portrait. And then from there, I'm going to select the little red dot at the top of the main type layer and just pop it up to that third layer there. I'll move that over to the side and I will lock it just so I don't accidentally select it. Now, all that's in my main type layer are these two intertwined pieces of type. So that's good. So I unlocked that intertwined layer there. And now I'm going to show you how to make some drop shadows super easily, but they're going to be special Victorian style drop shadows. So I'm going to select this, and when you intertwine something, it automatically groups it. So if you do need to select one individually, just hit your group select tool there, or you can double click on it to enter isolation mode. So I'm just going to click on one time. I'm going to hit Command C to copy, and then Command F to paste in front. So now I just copied, pasted the exact same thing right on top of the other one. So the one behind it, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to nudge it down a couple little nudges and over to the right a little bit. I'm just using the keys on my keyboard to do that. And I'm going to give those a white fill. Great. So you can't really see what's happening because we just filled it with white, but that's okay. I still have that same layer selected. I'm going to copy it again, Command C, and this time I'm going to hit Command B to paste it back. But I'm going to fill this one with black. So now when I use my nudging arrow keys, I can actually see that one, okay? So I'm not going to nudge it too far. I'm just doing like 2 clicks to 2 clicks down, 2 clicks to the right. I'm going to copy that black layer one more time and paste it in back again. So I'll go Command C to copy, Command B to paste in back. I'm not changing the fill color this time, but I'm going to drastically move this drop shadow, okay? So for this one, if you'd like, if you don't want black because it's too dark for your color palette, you can select the 2 black layers and change them to a gray or whatever you'd like. This one right here is in my color palette. It's not completely black. It's got a little tinge of blue. I don't know if you saw that shift. This one up here would work, this like darkest gray. That might look nice. Okay, so you can choose something like that. Now, once you're happy with your fill colors, you can go ahead and expand these 2 sets of layers. So I'm going to go to Object, Expand, and it's going to change it to an expanded shape. I'll hit OK. And now I can blend these 2. So I'll go to Object, Blend, and I'll hit Make. Now, if we didn't, I don't really like it, only made one little step there. So I'll go to Object, Blend again, but this time I'm going to choose Blend Options. And when we choose Blend Options, we get this little menu here. If you have your preview selected there, we're going to change the spacing from smooth color to specified steps. And then since the one is already selected, I can just hit my up arrow on my keyboard to add increments until I like what I see. So if you'd like to have sort of not a crosshatch, but like a line blend or a scratchboard blend look, you can keep some space between your blending layers. If you want to get rid of that, just crank it up to, for this one, it's going to be about 40 that I need to crank it up to get that edge super sharp. I can't zoom in to see it completely, but I think I'll be okay. Oh, maybe more. Let's go to 50. Okay, so the more layers that we're adding, the larger this file is going to be, and the slower our computer's going to work. So I don't need to add like 1,000. I'm okay at some, the minimal amount. Maybe I'll go a little bit more because I do see some dancing going on at the top of that T right there. So let's try 80, and I'll hit OK. All right, so I still have my blend layer selected, and I need to now expand all of those 80 different blend layers that I just made. So I'm going to go to Object and Expand, and all those layers will be contained in that one layer grouping. There we go. And now when I go to Properties, I'll see my Pathfinder options available. I don't want to use Merge or Unite. That's going to give us this huge black box. What we need instead is the Merge one under, so not under Shape Modes, but down under Pathfinders, choose Merge. Might take a minute. All right, and now we just have one large shape instead of 80 shapes, okay? Ooh, it looks like there are some other cutout shapes, but there's not 80, so that's all right. And then if you want to see a little bit more white, you can just select that white layer and move it over. So what I try to avoid is things like this. Let me zoom in so you can see. Right here, see where the black is peeking in through the white? So I want that white to touch. So if you want a larger white area, you can do what we did with the black. You make a copy, paste it underneath that white one, and then give it a blend, a nice smooth blend. So I'm seeing a little extra on the S here. But my shape is like very jagged because it's like snaky, so I'm okay with a little bit of separation, but I just don't really want to see like an obvious gap. Okay, great. So the next thing I'd like to do is show you some ways to make some guides to help you when you bring in all of your ornamental objects. So what I'm going to do is turn back on the visibility of my template just to get an idea of what I wanted to see before. So let me turn off this main type layer. So I wanted to see a nice circle around here, maybe another around serpent, if I was to make the serpent a little smaller. So I think I'll make 2 large circles that are the same size. And then with vintage ornaments going around lettering, I noticed that they flip it. They flip the arcs. See that? And so I'm going to create some ovals to kind of help with the placement of where to put the different ornaments, okay? So let's turn on our main type layer, and I can lock it so I don't accidentally select it. And I will make a new layer, and I will call this one Guides. So I'm not actually creating guides yet, I'm just putting it on a layer called Guides. So I'm going to use my oval tool. That seems to be like my best friend right now. I'm going to hold down the Option button to draw a circle from the center, and I'm going to try to place my cursor around the center of this top S here. And I'll draw and expand it. Let me do the default fill and stroke, so I'll hit D on my keyboard, but then I'm going to turn off my fill. And that looks good to me. I can hit Command C and Command V, so I get another circle the same size, and I'll just place that to hover over the center of my green S. Good. So if I wanted to, I could align these left, but they look pretty lined up, so I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to use my ellipse tool again, but this time I'm not going to create perfect circles. I'm going to create little ovals. I'll draw it from the center, but I want this one to go above the N, maybe over to the O there. That looks good. So I think my flourish will come down and swoop, and then this one will come up. Oh, no, wait, we want it to dip, don't we? Hold on, I gotta dip. So I'm gonna change the position of that. So we can dip down over the N. Then I'll make another one. This one's gonna go the opposite way. So I'll make it so that it kind of meets over that O there. These are just guides. So my flourish will dip down, and then the next one will come up and curve this way. So that looks good to me. Now, to have some uniformity, I'm going to have the same sized oval go along the bottom too. So I'll just hold down my Option key and I'll pull it down here. So this one, I don't want it to go upside down like it is in my sketch. I want it to come back up and scoop under that P descender. So I'm going to do that. I may need to move this O over a little bit to touch, but that's okay. That looks fine. And then I'll have the other one go the opposite direction. So I will copy this one, holding down my Option key. And oh, I let go of the mouse. I let go of the key before I let go of the mouse. So I don't want to do that. Mouse. Okay, there we go. And then I'll drop this one down. So I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. This is going to swoop this way, and then I'll put one along this guide to swoop this way. Now I just need a circular one for the end. So it can be about the same height, but I'm just going to make it a nice little sort of circle. And it can extend past the P, that's fine. This is actually probably even going to be behind my portrait. So I'm going to have it scoop under the P like this and scoop up the side there. So I'll just line that up. I think that'll work. And then I'll do the same thing at the top over this A. So that's coming down. So I'll have it go the opposite direction and floop up to kind of follow that curve of that A. Great. All right, now I'll go into my layers panel. And for the guides layer, I'll just click on that top little circle to select all the ellipses at once. And then I'll go to View, Guides, Make Guides. So if you hit View Guides, Make Guides, and all of a sudden all your guides disappear, that means you just need to go to Guides and choose Show Guides because you have your guides currently hidden. All right, so those are there, which is really nice. And then when you bring in your flourishes, now you have a little path to kind of trace, okay? So let me do one last thing here. I'm going to turn off the visibility of the template. I'll grab her again, but it's important that I change the color of this circle to be the same color of my drop shadow. We need to have it uniform everywhere. So that's the last touch for that part. And the last thing that needs to be done is going in and adding all your ornaments. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks for watching.